Thanks so much to 8 Sleep for sponsoring this video. What's going on, guys? My name is Wade with TechDaily. So it's been a minute since I last updated you guys on my bedroom projector theater setup. And while I almost always aim to get the best sort of budget, bang for your buck projector and accessories, this time I kind of went all out. Good projectors nowadays are fairly affordable, though I use the term affordable loosely because the projector I bought for this setup, one of LG's Cinebeams, still has a comma in its price. But it's a couple of years old now. It's many hundreds of dollars cheaper than it once was. It's a 4K UHD HDR10 supported all-in-one projector, and let's be honest, you're not going to get a 110-inch 4K TV or anything close to that for a similar price. I also added a great soundbar to this setup for the first time, which I'll talk about, and it's amazing what something like this can do. Surround sound be damned, for $220, this plug-and-play audio setup, even over Bluetooth, will get the job done just fine. The foundation of this bedroom setup, by the way, is still mostly the same as the OG budget projector videos from a while back. The same IKEA shelf crudely mounted above my bed, which has not fallen on me while I was sleeping or anything like that. It's remained firmly above the bed through many projector changes and cable swaps. And speaking of the bed, let me ask you guys something. You know how PCs sometimes use a liquid cooling system to keep temps down? Or even better, what if you could always sleep on the cool side of the pillow? But instead of just the pillow being cool, it's your whole entire mattress. Well, that's sort of the idea behind 8 Sleep's Pod Pro cover, and it's been a game changer for me when it comes to the quality of my sleep. Pod Pro cover is a mattress cover that fits over most sized mattresses, and that's lined with a system of coils used to channel water throughout to both cool and heat the surface of your bed. The water is stored in this tank that lives off to the side, and paired with 8 Sleep's app, you can have the Pod Pro cover cool down to as low as 55 degrees Fahrenheit or heat up to as hot as 110. The cover starts setting the temperature just before bedtime, and will also automatically make adjustments throughout the night depending on your sleep cycle. It is, in a way, a sleep tracker too. There's sensors in the cover that determine when you fall asleep, how many times you tossed and turned, and even your heart rate. And 8 Sleep's app will give you a sleep score that summarizes how well you might have slept. And if you sleep with a partner, the temperature of each side of the bed can be independently set, so you both get the optimal experience. For me, I always feel like I'm too hot, especially here in Las Vegas, and running the air conditioning all night long isn't very practical. But with the Pod Pro cover, I stay cool, I'm more comfortable, and most importantly, I'm sleeping better. In fact, clinical data has shown 34% more deep sleep, a 32% improvement in sleep quality, and a 19% increase in recovery in folks who use this cover. And sleep is a critically important factor in any person's overall health. 8 Sleep also just launched their new Pod Pro 3 mattress, and this is a fully integrated sleep tracking and heating and cooling bed with twice the amount of sensors, delivering even more accurate sleep and health data, and giving you the best sleep experience on Earth. If you guys are interested in learning more about how 8 Sleep's products can help improve your sleep, head on over to 8sleep.com/techdaily. You can also save $150. And thanks so much again to 8 Sleep for sponsoring this video. So now that you know the bed is cool and comfortable, let's go over the projector first. This is the LG HU70LA, their Cinebeam 4K UHD 140-inch DLP projector. And there are a number of reasons why I chose this one for my setup. For starters, I wanted something relatively small, but without sacrificing quality, connectivity, and inputs. And this projector hits all three of those points for me. Around back, LG gives you a generous amount of essential ports. 2 HDMI, including HDMI ARC, 2 USB-A, 1 USB-C, audio out, cable in, optical audio, a LAN port. This thing has more ports than most laptops nowadays, but you likely won't need any of them because the projector is Wi-Fi and Bluetooth enabled, and it's backed by LG's own WebOS software, with tons of built-in apps and streaming services, with even more available for download. And LG's own content store has a fairly wide selection of new and old movies and shows that you can choose from too. There's even dedicated Netflix and Amazon Prime buttons right on the remote control. The remote for the projector is also really nice. A lot of projectors have those cheap mini 4-button controls, but because the LG Cinebeam does so much, this is a really robust, universal remote for everything this projector is connected to. If you do feel the need to connect something, say via HDMI, like a cable box for example, which I have here, this projector will natively support most TV and cable services, and it'll be run right through to the projector, showing you your channel guide and everything else, without having to mess with the cable box remote either. The Cinebeam also has Bluetooth connectivity, which is obviously convenient for streaming stuff from a smartphone or laptop, but I use it primarily to connect this soundbar, and you can use Bluetooth to pair up any external Bluetooth speaker you might have, like from JBL or Sonos or anything else. The soundbar I went with is the Samsung S61A. It's their 5.0 channel Amazon Alexa connected soundbar. This is also more than a year old now, and I bought it like 30% off on Amazon, and considering the price, the ease of setup, and the sound quality, I think this was a great buy. Since the room as a whole isn't very big and I don't deal with like any echo or outside noise, the soundbar is plenty loud enough. It fills the room and it gives you that directional audio experience that nearly mimics a budget surround sound rig without having to set that all up.
So among us, do not. From now on, you are mine.
I mean, come on, what does that mean? Don't worry. I've been taking on some pro bono work.
You can be the hero today, but forgot tomorrow. Everyone's different. The best ones can step up.
People have always said that adding even a relatively affordable soundbar to any TV or projector setup is a great way to get noticeably better audio and improve the whole experience, and I definitely agree, especially with projectors. The speaker on the LG Cinebeam is okay, but it doesn't compete with something like this, obviously. And by the way, if you own a projector already that maybe doesn't have built-in Bluetooth, but it has an audio out jack, a headphone jack, you can get one of these little Bluetooth adapters for like 25 bucks, and this will allow you to connect a Bluetooth speaker to a non-Bluetooth enabled device. It's not perfect, there's a bit of a delay in audio since it's over Bluetooth and through an inexpensive little dongle, but it's an easy and affordable way to add a speaker to a setup if you don't want to redo everything or buy a super expensive projector. Now, with a setup like this, everyone's main questions usually have to do with how bright the projector is and how sharp it'll look as you start to approach its biggest available screen size, and also what resolutions it natively supports. So for brightness, LG advertises up to 1500 lumens, and while I don't have a professional tool to measure that myself, you can see that even with all the lights on and some additional lighting help for filming, the projector is still more than viewable. This is not going to compete with some $5,000 short throw projector that claims you can watch TV in the daylight, but for better than dim rooms, even if you need to have a light on for whatever reason, there's no issues. You guys know I have a bunch of windows with the city lights shining right in, and some budget projectors do even have an issue with that, but the Cinebeam is plenty bright enough for me here. And of course, I do have those motorized window shades I showed off a little while ago in my smart home video. For daytime and nighttime viewing, those are a great add-on to block everything out. Obviously, with all the lights off and the windows shut, this thing is ridiculously bright, and I have a feeling this is how most people will be watching it anyway. When it comes to the quality and supported resolutions, while this is technically a 4K projector, it's one of those pixel shifting upscaled setups. The 4K DLP chip inside takes the native resolution of 1080p and shifts it 4 ways to quadruple the pixel count up to 2160. And the actual picture it produces is fairly close to UHD, though not a true native 4K setup. For adjustments to the color, contrast, and brightness, the Cinebeam has a few options and modes to tinker with. There's 8 picture modes ranging from vivid to standard, cinema, sports, even a makeshift HDR effect. The difference between the picture modes to me isn't too extreme, but if you're picky about picture, I think it's noticeable enough to make those minor adjustments. If you have the proper HDR content queued up, there's 5 additional HDR picture profiles to swap around, but no matter the content or the settings, while the Cinebeam produces a great overall image, black spots and shadows are its biggest weakness. The dimmer the scene, the less you'll see, but honestly, for most of what I watch and for my own preference, the viewing experience is plenty bright enough. It's bold and colorful, sharp while I'm laying in bed some 6 or 8 feet away with even a 100+ inch projection. It checks all the boxes that I personally want. There's also easy to use focus controls both on the projector and on the remote itself for setting everything up. The biggest downside though is that there's limited Keystone adjustments. So you have to make sure it's mounted or positioned fairly precisely. And because I'm not dealing with a mount, just a cheap shelf that this thing is living on, I have to take some less than ideal measures to tilt this projector down quite a bit. And while it works, it definitely looks like it's set up a bit awkwardly or might slide off the shelf. That's really my biggest issue. Like I said though, the big things for me with this projector are all the built-in apps and streaming services for sure. That saves me the hassle of adding a Fire TV stick or Apple TV to this thing, even if LG's WebOS is a bit dated now. The native cable TV support is also a big one. The Bluetooth connectivity, the HDR support, upscaled 4K resolution, it's a really great all-in-one package that checks a lot of the boxes that I was looking for. Yeah, it's still a $1,250 projector, but factoring all of those things in and tossing in that Samsung soundbar for $250 more, I think this is still a really well-rounded home theater-like experience, and I'm super happy with the setup. At the end of the day, it's not going to compete with some $5,000 or $10,000 surround sound home movie theater, but for the price and considering all the things that are built in, how easy it is to set up, and everything that's included, I'm super happy with the end result. But what do you guys think? What else should I add to this setup now? Let me know in the comments down below if you have any suggestions. I'd love to hear your thoughts, of course. Hopefully you guys did enjoy this video though. Be sure to follow TechDaily on Twitter and subscribe to the TechDaily YouTube channel if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys later.